Uh, we're down to the low bank, so we go. The next day we start bottoming. Bottoming was a big job. It needed 2 sleighs men, 2 catchers, and a dartsman. And there had to be down. They cut out the he went his rope again. There had to be dams left round about the edge of the turf he was to cut, and he'd mark it out with his rope again, and they'd start cutting. And
so second day of cutting.
The second day of cutting.
Same as the first.
There were 2 men cutting, 2 catchers, and the turf was wheeled out. Your spread bank was off out there.
So, Dad, when you cut a sod of turf, what do you do with it then?
You peg it up to the catcher and he puts it on the bogey.
He's standing up here?
He's standing up here, yeah.
And the cutter is down in the bog hole?
He's in the bog hole, yeah.
So he's
slowly going down into the bog hole.
The cutter is cutting down into here?
Yeah. But when you have a barra full of turf there, a bogey full of turf, it's brought out. You have 2 bogies. And
so each catcher has a bogey?
No, both of them will be filling
the
one bogey, but
right.
When that would be full, it'd be brought out by the horse out to the end of the spread bank. And,
out to here somewhere?
Yeah.
This would be all the bank.
And the second bogey would be being filled while he was out empty. He'd come back in with an empty bogey and.
So what does he do when he's gone? He lays out the turf?
He lays out the turf. The bogey had slide off. There was on the headboard. There was a handles on each side of the headboard. He came up like that, and he'd pull it over, and the bogey be on its edge.
So it'd kind of tip it.
Yeah, and it'd slide off, and he'd pull the back around with the horse and pull it upright. Up and back in to get it.
So that's the way the turf was laid out like
left
that?
Out, yeah. And,
to dry like that?
No, he had to come another day to spread it. They'd go down, there was a dartsman working there was 3 men in the bog hole as it went down. And his job was he had a spade. And he'd see there's only this side when you come to an edge there, it had to be opened with a spade, and he opened up at the front of it there for this part here and the side there. And another of his jobs was there was a hole made in the dug in the corner of the bog hole, and his job was there was water coming in fairly fast, and his job was to team the water with a bucket and get out beyond the dam.
And where would he throw it?
Oh, he'd throw it out about, well, the dam would be about 2 feet wide, and he'd throw it out beyond that. He'd make a little kind of hole outside that wouldn't come back in and top him, and they'd keep at that, cutting like that till they'd get down till they'd get to the bottom. There used to be, you see that brown there's a kind of different, that under the heather is puck, they called it, and then there was brown turf, and there was a thing called a wig in the brown turf, it was like hair that was left out across it, and it was very hard cut. There was about maybe 4 boards of it, and the sleighsmen didn't like it because they had to clean the blade of the sleigh, and then you should tap it again the side of the sod or to cut and pull it up and it'd come off. But,
made it easier to cut the sod.
Yeah, but that wig now, that people call it wig, many boards of wig was in it, was the kind of thing to be talking about. But it must have been a plant that grew at one time and died away and stopped growing there. I suppose there was climate change or something.
It doesn't grow anymore.
No, but the deeper they get into the bog, You see that lump of timber up there? It starts coming across that kind of thing. They didn't like it now. It wasn't everywhere, but then there's a big lump of it there. That's a tree that was growing before the bog started to grow.
Okay.
The bog grew up round it. But in places there could be a lot of that, and the dirt man had to kind of get around, dig the turf out from round about it with a spade and get it up on the top.
Hard work as well.
Hard work as well, and then when they got down, the water didn't stop them from cutting. They might get down to clay or gravel, but I'm losing my track now. When they had that bottom there to try and cut out those dams that were round about it, but usually the water would start